And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls.
1964, I was living in Berkeley with 2 small children and working at the dean's office in Sproul Hall on campus. That same September, Mario Savio entered the university as a freshman, having graduated with honors from his high school in Queens. His father was a Sicilian immigrant steelworker, and Mario had seriously considered becoming a priest. But he spent that summer before entering Berkeley in Mississippi, working for the civil rights movement there, registering voters. Interestingly, when he got to Berkeley, he said he met the same enemy there that he had faced in Mississippi, a depersonalized and unresponsive bureaucracy. Well, that was September. In October, Jack Weinberg, who was a previous student at Cal, was in Sproul Hall passing out free literature for the Congress for Racial Equality, better known as CORE. These tables on campus have become a big thorn in the side of the university. They didn't like the left-leaning tone of the literature, and they didn't like the fact that these tables were everywhere. But Sproul Plaza, of course, was a choice place to be because, it was a big entrance to the university. It was lots of traffic. So anyway, Jack was there passing out these leaflets, and the police were called. The police car came, did not park, did not stop, went over the curb, across the sidewalk, and drove right onto the plaza itself. Put Jack into the police car. And of course, a whole crowd surrounded the police car. And it was a noisy crowd. Someone yelled, "Sit down!" And they all sat down. And that started a 31-hour sit-in. Well, Mario Savio happened to be in that crowd. And he got up, he took his shoes off, and he climbed on top of the police car, and he spoke to the crowd. Mario's voice was heard on campus the first time. Now, by December, President Clark Kerr had been in conversation with the Board of Regents about this very issue of this free speech movement, these tables, the kinds of literature, etc. And he had discounted the free speech movement, saying it was just a ritual of hackneyed complaints. And he referred to the university as a factory. Later, he made a public statement after a phone consultation with the Board of Regents, saying, "Well, can you imagine the manager of a firm passing a ruling that would go against his board of directors?" Well, it was only days after that, on December 22nd, that Mario arrived in Sproul Plaza and walked up the steps to the building and faced the crowd. "I ask you to consider if in fact this is a firm and if the Board of Regents is a board of directors and President Kerr is the manager, then I'll tell you something. The faculty are a bunch of employees, and we are the raw materials. But we are not the kind of raw material. It means to have some kind of process done to us. Does not mean to be made into some product. Does not mean to be sold to some client of the university, whether they be government or industry or organized labor, be they anyone. We are human beings. It comes a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart, that you cannot participate. You can't even passively participate. And you have to put your body against the gears, against the wheels, against all the apparatus, and you have to make it stop. And you have to indicate to the people who run it and own it that unless you're free, the machine will not be permitted to operate at all. Wow, rode and marched into Sproul Hall, occupying it. The office I was in when we were scuttled out the back way, and the police were called. Mario Savio was arrested that day, along with 800 other people. Imagine, 800 stands as the largest mass arrest in California history. Mario went on to become a leader in the free speech movement. And 3 years later, the Board of Regents and the newly elected Governor Reagan dismissed President Kerr from his president's job at Cal. And in 1997, those steps that Mario spoke from were officially designated as the Mario Savio steps. There is a memorial lecture series given to honor Mario that is delivered every fall. Every year, intellectual luminaries come and deliver this speech. And there is a Mario Savio Young Activist Award that's given to some young activist who has shown determination and passion for human rights and social justice. But Mario Savio will always live in my heart as the true hero of the 60s.